Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 4 of season 2 of our F1 2010 career mode. Yes, we return this weekend back for the Chinese Grand Prix out in Shanghai, of course. If you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Sepang, Malaysia, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out because simply put, Fernando Alonso is a bottle job. One of you guys actually left a comment on that video. You could see on the minimap, Fernando literally ran wide at the very last corner of the Grand Prix, handing Kamui Kobayashi victory, and of course his first ever win in Formula 1 as well. So that means obviously for the first 3 races done and dusted, just like last season, we have seen 3 different winners in the championship as well. Currently Mercedes though very happy with my performances. Yep, there you go. Obviously, absolutely wonderful. Obviously, I mean, we are doing pretty well so far this season, but I'm always worried that maybe this Mercedes is just lacking a little bit of speed against some of our rivals as well. So, yeah, we currently lead the world title by just 6 points then ahead of Fernando. Jenson Button up in 3rd ahead of Kamui Kobayashi and Adrian Sutil there, with Antonio Liuzzi, Kubica and Mark Webber just a little bit further down the order. But, I mean, there's still so many surprises when you look up and down this grid. First of all, 18 drivers have already scored points, which is rather impressive. Second of all, Hamilton and Vettel aren't either of those, or any of those, I should say. Still, I think Hamilton did finish the last Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel, reigning world champion, 3 DNFs from 3 starts so far this season. One of those might have been my fault, though, so I apologise to Sebastian for that. Constructors-wise, though, Ferrari 6 points clear of us, so we kind of need Michael Schumacher, you know, to pull his finger out a little bit. Maybe he wants to see his old team back on top once more. We've got a 6-point buffer, though, ahead of Force India. So, yeah, this season so far, very mixed up. McLaren in 4th. Red Bull behind Toro Rosso down in P8. And then, yeah, every single team has scored a point as well. Of course, if you're new and you are enjoying this series, please make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. We are getting very close to 2,500 subscribers on the channel. Honestly, I cannot thank you guys enough for the continued support on this series. But yeah, without further ado, let's return here to Shanghai. Well, with 3 pole positions in the bag then, I think it's safe to assume we can obviously skip past Q1 and know that we should make it through into Q2 week in and week out there. But honestly, for the first time on Saturday afternoons, it seems like the AI might be a bit more competitive this weekend. We only ended up 6th in that first run, about a second away from the McLarens that set the top of the timing screens alight. So, yeah, I think we're hoping for like a high 35, a low 36 here, if possible as well. So, fingers crossed, obviously. As obviously the track rubbers in a bit more as we now switch over to a set of the option tyres. We are going to be a little bit more competitive. I feel like this is one of the circuits though on this game where the AI are a bit better on Saturday, but therefore not as OP on Sunday afternoon. Of course, what we found in the first couple of races is we kind of get through the pit stop cycles, and then we basically just stay exactly where we are as the AI's pace kind of levels out at about the same level ours is. So, I mean, I'm not going to complain with a win and 2/4. I'm going to complain with that line through there on this first run. But as I keep saying, consistency is going to be key this season. It is just like trying to get those points rolling in and week out. The only thing we have got to consider, though, is, of course, Fernando Alonso now, in theory, I think has the best car on the grid against the McLarens. And obviously, Fernando Alonso, I believe, is kind of the highest rated driver inside this game as well. So if we can beat him this season, we're going to have to kind of give it a Herculean effort there, as completely missing the apex down at the end of the back straight as well. This first lap has certainly not been one to write home about. Shumi does a 1:38.4. I do a 1:38.2 though. Although there weren't any major errors then in the first half of the lap, we're actually down by a 10th by the time we get towards the back straight there, but a much tidier line through there. And you can see we are, yeah, about 400 slower than Lewis Hamilton at the moment, so as long as I get this second run hooked up, hopefully we are going to be able to find a bit more pace. So you've got to use the active aero down this back straight. Speeds in excess of 330 kilometers an hour when we get it absolutely hooked up in the toe. make sure we brake nice and early. You've got to brake so much earlier than you do in a modern Formula 1 car down there. But hit the apex that time round. Carry the throttle on the exit of the corner. One more turn to go then. Of course, track limits are way more laxed back in the day. And although we're banked over that curve, a 36.2 straight to the top of the pile. That was more what I was hoping for. Well, there we go then, a British 1-2-3 come the end of Q2, and once again, McLaren seem to have the pace over everybody else there. Alonso a second away in P4, just ahead of Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber. Michael Schumacher does make it through in P7, just ahead of Felipe Massa, as Adrian Sutil and Robert Kubica round out your top 10. So, no major surprises then. I think it was Alguersuari in the back markers that went out in Q1. But yeah, Hamilton looks to be back. Well, we have really got to try and get out here and nail this. Only 10 minutes, obviously, in Q3. So let's see what we can do then. Make sure, obviously, everything is in all the right mixtures. All the right, aero settings was the word I was looking for. Down in towards turn 1. But the sun's shining then around this Shanghai circuit. So, fingers crossed, the sun is going to be shining down on us. Mercedes, obviously, we've had all 3 pole positions so far. Can we extend that record to 4? What is the most? I would assume it's Senna that had the most poles in a row in Formula 1. But I think it's going to be a long time before we try and match his record. Oh, no, again, I don't know why that corner's throwing me off so much. Get out of the way of the AI. I don't want to get done for illegal blocking. I was just worried there I was going to collect one of the McLarens. So, well, once again, it's going to give us a delta to chase. Button does a 37.1. Schumi does a 37 flat. So clearly our teammate is able to find a little bit more speed here as well. I don't want to give anybody a slipstream though. Felipe Massa, you never know how useful that might be for the AI. So I think everybody trying to play a bit of a game of chicken with each other right now. Looking for a bit of a gap as we've got another car coming up behind us. That is Adrian Sutil, who I think's just happy to make the final show. Another one barreling their way through. That is Robert Kubica then. He gets all up on that outside curb on the exit of the penultimate corner. But give myself plenty of breathing room. And let's try and go again then through the final corner. Nail that apex curb. Carry the momentum off the corner as we plunge down the hill towards the start-finish line. Of course, Schumacher, yeah, he claimed his last ever Formula 1 victory here back in 2006. So happy memories, I'm sure, for the German. Obviously wants to come back and obviously win here again. Oh, come on, through the first couple of corners. Nice and tidy. Oh, roll on the throttle. A little bit leery as we try and get the power down. But again, obviously that's what happens with these rich revs. Especially when you're trying to push the car right towards the limit there. 2 tenths down in Sector 1. But we are still 8 tenths up on Michael Schumacher. We're yet to see Hamilton really get a fair representative in as through the S's. Of course, easy flat in modern machinery, a slight blend of throttle in these 2010 cars. Just nowhere near the levels of downforce that you would come to expect from a modern F1 machine there. Get the power down, though, on the exit and try and just blitz it down in towards this next corner. Don't lock up the rears on the way in. We actually found a bit of time through Sector 2 there, and we are still way up on Michael Schumacher at Sector 3, where we really come alive. The AI, very good through that middle sector as well, but lowering the aero, I should say, not activating DRS. We'll have to wait for F1 2011 before we can do that. 330 kilometers an hour as we spot the braking at the 150 meter board, ready for that final corner. Hamilton now has done a 35.8, so that is a rapid lap time by the McLaren man. What are we going to be able to do though as we throw the car through that final corner? Maybe a little bit overzealous. 35.8! Half a tenth of a second quicker than Hamilton, but will he find more time? Well, there we are then. That has got to be one of the best qualifying sessions we've had this year. Pole position for the 4th time this season. But boy, oh boy, we really had to work for that one. I mean, Hamilton and I in a different league compared to everybody else there. 1.2 seconds quicker than our teammates in the end. And let's not forget, Michael Schumacher and Jenson Button aren't exactly slow. Even better for me, though, Fernando Alonso all the way down in P7. So it looks like Ferrari really struggling for pace here this weekend. But I've just got to not make a mistake on lap 1.
The boss wants another points finish out of you this weekend. Give it your best shot.
Here we we are then. 5 red lights coming on for the Chinese Grand Prix. Nice lights out. Whoa, and away we go there. Try to avoid getting too much wheel spin on the initial launch. And I would immediately, just bang off the red line in towards turn 1. Luckily, though, Hamilton not feeling that brave. Didn't think about having a look down the inside there, of course. We did come together in the opening couple of Grand Prix this season. Didn't really see much of Lewis, though, last weekend in Sepang. Apart from, obviously, when either I was spinning or he was spinning. But absolutely the start we needed, though, as we try and control the pace down in towards the next couple of corners. 22 laps ahead of us today. Although it is still a bit overcast around the circuit, I believe it was only like an 8% chance of rain. So not likely that we're going to see any rainfall over the course of the afternoon. But I think for the first time really ever on this game, we actually apparently have got very good straight line speed. Because, yeah, we were consistently gaining time through Sector 3 yesterday in qualifying as well. But, I mean, this is exactly what we needed off the start there. Just able to control the pace up at the front. Whoa, don't hit that curb. I've got to be so careful through there. Luckily, whoa, able to gather it up. Not well enough, though, as Hamilton immediately will get down the inside. That was really not ideal, as we'll get up in the rich revs, though. I mean, Hamilton, hopefully he's not going to be able to scamper away too much, as Michael Schumacher now trying to breathe down my neck as well. So Schumi, we haven't really seen anything of him so far this season. There's another little front lock-up down at the final couple of corners. Luckily, we'll get the power down off the exit of the turn, and we will hang on to second spot. But no matter how many times I start from pole, I cannot lead by the end of lap 1. I'm cursed. It's mainly a skill issue. I'm not going to argue against it, but yeah, just got up on the curbs, get a little bit nervous. You kind of tighten up within yourself, and you'd rather just make a little mistake than risk making a rather large one. Oh no, where on earth am I going? Huge front lock-up down at turn 4. This is so difficult. I don't know why we're struggling so much with front locking now. Felt like this was never that big an issue in the HRT, but yeah, now both Michael Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel squeezing their way through as well. So Seb, I mean, he'll just want to see a checkered flag early on in this campaign. But yeah, another rather stupid error from me. Just want to try and find some consistency early on as well. Sebastian Vettel there, very slow through the chicane. Able to get the power down on the exit through there. This has always been a corner where the AI is so good on any Formula 1 game. Just not able to emulate their speed off the turn. Are we going to be quicker than Sebastian Vettel as we make our way down the back straight? You can see him trying to break the toe just a little bit. We've definitely got a bit of speed over him there. I was just worried about braking too late down in that final corner. Come on, we've got to try and get on the fight back. Hamilton is scampering away. There we go. Sebastian Vettel down the inside of Michael Schumacher. Kind of gave him a bit of a shovel out wide there, so Schumi won't be best pleased with that one. But the German then, and our top 2 from last year's World Championship, 1 and 2, was, well, I've accidentally gone around the outside of Michael Schumacher there. Not quite sure how I've done that one, but we have. Yeah, don't have time to ease off on the revs at the moment, engineer. We've got to keep pushing there, but making some progress back in the right direction. But Lewis Hamilton has already got about a 5-second lead up at the front of the order, so even if we can get past Seb, it is going to be a long day to try and close back up to Lewis. He loves this Shanghai circuit. Has often ran well here. In fact, he won the IRL 2011 GP in a car that probably wasn't all too competitive. Sebastian Vettel, then, that's very early into the pit lane early on in this Grand Prix. Then just the end of lap 5, and I thought the German was pushing quite aggressively, so it'll be fascinating to see whether he can get to the end of this Grand Prix. Yeah, team's still fairly happy with the performance we're having so far. Maybe a bit happier than I am, because I know we should be up front with Lewis Hamilton. We are going a bit quicker, though, than the McLaren man right now, so I wonder if the AI have just taken a bit too much out of their tyres. But we've got to dig deep. We've got to keep pushing, keep being consistent, and hope that we can steadily bring that gap down. No point being able to find a second one lap if you're going to lose it all the next. We just need to keep it clean. Oh, Hamilton. Hamilton's made an error. Just saw him off the road there, down at the exit of the hairpin. Don't think he's cost himself too much time. He's definitely trying to push at the moment. That gap now up to 8 seconds. So he must have just casually found a second on that last lap there. He's going to lose a little bit, not loads. But it's good to know again that, hello, that our fellow Brit might make an error there, as I think Schumacher Did he just clobber into the back of me? I got no idea. Felt a big hit through the wheel. But yeah, the gap to Hamilton still 7 seconds, so no idea what he did, but it definitely hasn't cost him much. Our tyres are really hitting the cliff, so we're going to peel in now. Well, is Hamilton then into the pit lane as well? I don't believe he is, so Hamilton really trying to stretch this out as far as he can. No idea what I hit there. Must have just skimmed the inside wall, but I thought we had enough room on the way in, as obviously you've got to make sure we get on the anchors ready for our pit box. Nice and early on the brakes there, as hopefully we are going to be in a battle on pit road with Jenson Button. Come on, go, 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 go. 4.2 is not bad. We'll stay ahead of JB, which is rather useful. But where is Sebastian Vettel then in this Grand Prix? That's one of the other questions I've got at the moment.
Don't forget to turn the limiter off.
There, I think, goes the German. So he's just like, whoa, been able to stay ahead of us as I've been literally pushed into the path of Robert Kubica on pit lane exit. We've got yellows out, though. I think that's someone behind. And that has gone for a spin as well. So a little bit of craziness kicking off at this stage of the Grand Prix. But luckily, we seem to be out ahead of most of the back markers. I can see a few more cars then heading into the pit lane, including our teammate Michael Schumacher. So yes, luckily Kubica as well. Oh, opts to dive in. Are we going to get overcut by our German teammate here? Doesn't feel like we've had a bad in-lap, as there goes Michael though. So Michael Schumacher really bringing the speed this weekend. That seem to get out in front of Alguersuari there, as there's a wheel just on the apex of turn 1. That's probably suboptimal. But yeah, no idea where Lewis is then. As look at this, Aomi Alguersuari trying to go for the run against the Michael here as they make their way off of the first couple of corners. The Toro Rosso trying to get all the way around his outside. Schumacher though, fresh rubber, trying to get it up to temperature. Surely is going to be able to hang on to this one, but he doesn't. Jaime Alguersuari clean around the outside of our teammate there, so I feel like Michael and I are going to be battling for that final podium place, because I don't know where Hamilton is, but I think he's pit and come out still a little bit further in front. But yeah, it is great to see that the German's got a bit of speed this weekend, because if things go well, we could take the lead of the constructors away from Ferrari. There was once again Hamilton, Schumacher even braking way too early. Oh, up at the end of Sector 2, we'll make a little bit of contact. Whoa, with his rear diffuser, they're banging wheels as we try and make our way out onto the back straight. And now it's just a battle of who's got less downforce there. And that seems to be us, as we will just about clear Michael Schumacher down this back straight. Make sure he hit the anchors nice and tidily.
There are no changes remaining this lap.
Yeah, that's okay. Don't mind having to run low downforce through this final corner, but Jaime Alguersuari doesn't peel into the pit lane just yet. Neither does Vitaly Petrov. But we are back up then into effective net P3. Well, let's see then if we can try and move past Jaime Alguersuari. He was a huge thorn in Michael Schumacher's side, but he does seem to have some really good speed at the moment. Let's try to gain down this back straight. Alguersuari will go just a little bit defensive there, so we would try and send it all the way around the outside, but Alguersuari having absolutely none of it there, just squeezes me out on the exit of the corner, tries to roll that car in front. Oh, a little bit of contact through the final turn, lucky not to pick up some front wing damage. Yep, team there getting even more desperate that we've got to try and clear him there as late on the brakes. Around the outside through turn 1. Luckily, we'll just clear him on the exit. Alguersuari's spun. Just saw that in the rear mirror there. It's Jaime Alguersuari losing the back end. I think he's been able to gather it up there. Schumacher. Oh, I assume he's lost the place to Felipe Massa as well. But we need to try and find a way to get closer to Sebastian Vettel. Because, yeah, he is still getting held up behind Petrov. And this is probably our best chance. Ooh, there we go. Sebastian Vettel in again. So Sebastian Vettel then is two-stopping in this Grand Prix, and I don't believe Petrov has actually pit at all so far. So, yeah, the Renault man clearly having a very good day out. Back up into the podium places for us, though, and, well, hopefully we're going to have to still the pace over Vitaly over these next few laps as well, but really just trying now to settle down into a bit of a rhythm. But it will be interesting to see where Seb comes back out. Well, the team are adamant that Vitaly Petrov is meant to be peeling in at some point quite soon. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous with 7 laps to go, that he might just not. Like I said, I don't think he's pit in this Grand Prix, but sometimes, yeah, the AI can kind of find a lot of pace, seemingly out of nowhere. No idea where Fernando Alonso is in this Grand Prix. Massa is still trying to close me down towards the end of the afternoon. Petrov's actually going quicker than Hamilton up at the front of the order as well, so it would be hilarious if he can try and put him under some pressure. But for the moment, though, we are just trying to, like I said, bring the car home. Again, bring home consistent points. We should hopefully continue to extend our World Championship buffer. Oh, there we go. If by magic, that very lap, Vitaly Petrov then into the pit lane. So we are going to be back up, into second spot. As long as I don't bin it out of that final corner. So, yeah, like I said, Hamilton, I think, has just had a bit too much speed anyway today. Would have been nice had we been able to stay ahead of him early on. What Force India am I coming up towards, Engineer? No idea what he's on about there. But Felipe Massa then not too far behind me now. But with 7 laps to go, I think we're just hoping to try and hang on for P2. With a little over 3 laps to go then, Felipe Massa, he's really starting to push now to try and close in on me a bit more. Schumacher seems to be losing some pace as well against some of his nearest rivals, so I just think the Mercedes long-term race pace here hasn't been that great. I always remember... hello? Felipe? He just barged me out. Never seen that before from the AI, as hopefully, we'll be able to try and come back at him out of that final corner. But yeah, Felipe Massa just completely shoveled me out at the hairpin there. So down the inside by the time we get back in towards turn 1. So I'm not going to give up on that without a fight. And there we go. We should just be able to squeeze him out. Oh, he's still trying to go for it though. Bit of contact through turn 2. And look at that. Felipe Massa has absolutely had me then. Big half spin on the exit of the corner as well, but I don't really feel there was a lot I could do there. Felipe, he's really trying to push on. Maybe he's trying to get redemption for Australia and believes he can try and chase down Hamilton towards the end of the afternoon, but F1 2010's AI love to get their elbows out, it would appear. Well, I tell you what then, it might have come too little too late, but Felipe Massa has not given up on the idea that he could win this Grand Prix. 1 more lap to go. I mean, look how much he's pulled away from me already. That gap now down at about 4 seconds between your top 2 here. And yeah, Felipe took about 2 seconds out of him on the last lap. So, I mean, based on that speed, there was never a chance I was going to be able to keep up with Massa once he was able to break his way through. The really annoying bit, though, of course, is, like I said, Ferrari. They are our big constructors' rivals early on this season. We are, well... I mean, it's still far too early to kind of discount Red Bull and McLaren, but we are going to be the teams that are likely going to be in that hunt there. I mean, again, Massa's taken like 8/10 out of Lewis. I know Lewis is just trying to bring that car home. He could desperately do with some points. No less a victory here in Shanghai, but yeah, Felipe Massa, once again, he's going to come up short. But how long will he have to wait before he can bag his first victory in this series there? Clearly, I mean, he's mugged me off twice in the first 4 races, so Felipe Massa is not scared of the World Championship leader at the moment. That is clear to see after these opening couple of GP, but yeah, I think for us today, though, this Mercedes, like I said, ultimately is reminiscent of the 2013 Mercedes. Great over 1 lap on a Saturday. Struggles a lot more with race pace, though. Schumacher's had the same thing a little bit further behind. He has really fallen into the clutches of a few other cars there. But through the final corner, Hamilton is going to be back to the top step of a Formula 1 podium for the first time this season. He will claim victory. Massa will come through for second. More points on the board is P3.
That's you on the 3rd step of the podium. Well done. Good race.
Well, there we are then. Lewis Hamilton, 4 seconds clear come the checkered flag, able to control the pace right towards the very end as Felipe Massa will come through for P2. We will follow him home in 3rd there, just ahead of Michael Schumacher and Fernando Alonso. And yeah, Vitaly Petrov on that very alternate strategy will come through for 6th. Kobayashi then beats out Sebastian Vettel on his 2-stop strategy, only good enough for P8, with Jenson Button almost a minute behind his teammate, and Pedro De La Rosa rounding out your top 10. Webber, not too sure what happened to him down in 12th. Kovalainen, best of the back markers this weekend in P13. And just Adrian Sutil and Sebastian Buemi, who failed to see the checkered flag. What does that do to the World Championship? Well, it means now we have got an 11-point buffer ahead of Fernando Alonso. So Again, obviously, when Felipe did barge me out, I thought, oh, do I really try and fight this aggressively against him? But I thought, no, we've got to think of the bigger picture at the moment. JB still in third then ahead of Kobayashi and Felipe. Lewis, though, immediately leapfrogs his way up into P6. And, well, he's 39 points back, but there's still a lot of races to go for him to get himself back into the hunt. Adrian Sutil ahead of Viantonio Liuzzi. Robert Kubica ahead of Mark Webber. And then you can still see Sebastian Vettel getting his first points of the year. Just Bruno Senna, Jarno Trulli, and Lucas de Grassi yet to score a point. Constructors-wise, Ferrari extend that gap by an extra point there, up to 7 now at the top of the table. McLaren back up to 3rd ahead of Force India, and Red Bull back ahead of Toro Rosso as well, but still battling for 7th and 8th place. They are definitely going to need a resurgence of form. Lotus 1 point ahead of Williams, and then of course, yeah, your other backmarker teams right towards the back of the pack. I got told off in the second race of the season out in Australia because I didn't do the podium, so I've got to remember to do my interview.
A third place finish this weekend has really given your championship hopes a boost. Can you keep up the momentum in the coming races?
Well, we've really got to try and play the PR game in this series. So, yeah, apparently you've just got to try and hype up the team as best as you can. I think we'll gain momentum.
With both drivers in the points this weekend, it's a boost to the team's constructors' title hopes. Is the result a good indication of where you are now compared to the other teams?
Well, I think being honest between you guys and myself, actually, I think we both outdrove the car this weekend. But I think, yeah, we'll say it's showing how competitive we are.
Third place is a good result for any driver, but considering that you started from the front row of the grid, is this result a little frustrating?
Yes, mainly because I'm a bottle job, but I can't imagine that's going to be an option. So, I think we had a strong weekend, though. Like I said, I think ultimately Mercedes just didn't have the long-term pace. And there we go then. Oh, no, I'd forgotten next up's Catalonia. Damn it. Let's have a look. Is our team still happy with our performances? Yes, they are. The team appreciate how we handled the press. There we go then. Round 4 of the season. Our second podium finish. And once again, solid points on the board. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed. Spain next weekend is going to be easily the toughest test we've had this season. I think it'll be a miracle if our podium streak stays alive.